find it anywhere in there.
All right, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Do I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Parton,
Here.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Here.
Counselor Harris,
Here.
Counselor Ellis,
Here.
Counselor Day,
Here.
Counselor Wheat, Counselor Rapoli.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. At this time, do I have a motion to amend the agenda just to move the proclamations recognizing businesses in Hopewell for over 50 years to the first item in the city manager's report?
So moved.
All right. Motion's been made by Councilor Rapoli and seconded by Vice Mayor Joyner. Is there any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. At this time, do I have a motion to go into closed meeting under Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A3, 8, and 29 to discuss the acquisition or disposition of real property, where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, the award of a public contract where discussion in an open session would adversely affect the city's bargaining position, and to consult with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters, real estate contract discussions, and Victoria Street revocable license, and 2.2-3711A1 and 8, to discuss personnel matters, police department personnel, building office personnel, healthy family, school board, architecture review board, and salary supplements, and 2.2-3711A8 to consult with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters, Beacon Theater Board legal billing.
So moved. Second.
All right, motion's been made by Counselor Day and seconded by Counselor Rapoli. Is there any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris. Motion passes 6-0.
All right.
Hey.
I told you, Mr. Rogers, you'd be back. Motion made by Vice Mayor Joyner and seconded by Counselor Day. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right, certification, please.
Certification under Virginia Code 2.2-3712D, where only public business matters: 1, lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements, and 2, identified in the closed meeting motion discussed in the closed meeting. Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. All right, thank you all for coming to tonight's city council meeting. I apologize that we're running just a few minutes behind, but we're going to catch up with it with our items. And we will start out with our report from the city manager.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor Parton, Vice Mayor Joyner, and council members. I'm pleased to be here this evening for my first meeting with you all. And I'd first like to say thanks to our interim manager, Rogers, and Deputy City Manager, Jordan, for their leadership during the interim period. I've hit the ground running, and I've been refining my plan for the first 90 days with you all. So just briefly, I've participated in the following regional meetings: the Riverside Regional Jail Board meeting, the Creator Youth Commission, where I will be the vice president, and I've attended the Civilian Military Council meeting with the fort. So I'm actively meeting our department directors and staff at their work locations, and I share with all employees that our focus will be on customer service for our residents, mutual respect for one another, direct communication, and collaboration amongst our work teams. And so the goal is to continue the positive momentum started by council and our leadership team. And I'll end with notice regarding the Virginia American Water Company rate increase. VAWC has filed a proposal that will increase our water rates by 30%, and residents can share their comments with the State Corporation Commission by June 3rd, or if they want to register to attend the June 10th hearing, they need to register by June 3rd as well. And so we have provided all the information for people to be able to provide comments online, send in comments via mail, and they can find that on our hopewellva.gov website and the city's social media. And with that, we'll move on to our next item, which will be our resolution or recognition of our businesses.
Okay.
Sure.
Can I get, there he is, right there. Mr. Kyle English will come up.
Yes. Mr. Manager, thank you. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, good evening, and to the members of our community. Tonight, I have the privilege of recognizing a remarkable group of businesses that have helped shape the fabric of the city of Hopewell for more than half of a century. Although not a comprehensive list, these 15 businesses have operated continuously in the city of Hopewell for at least 50 years. They have weathered economic changes, celebrated milestones along our residents, created jobs, supported local families, and remained committed to supporting the Hopewell community, again, for at least a half century. Their longevity is a testament not only to strong business leadership, but also to the relationships they have built and trust they have earned throughout generations. These businesses are more than storefronts or service providers. They are part of Hopewell's story and identity. I would like to thank each of these businesses for their continued investment in the city of Hopewell and for the lasting impact that they have made on our residents and our local economy. At this time, if I will start to recognize these businesses, I would like to ask if the representative from the businesses in the audience please come forward and receive your proclamation from Mayor Parton. And these will be in alphabetical order. First is the Bowling Center of Hopewell, which was established in 1955. The Bowling Center of Hopewell has remained a longstanding community tradition and valued part of Hopewell's business community. Throughout decades of league play, recreation, and family entertainment, the center has continued to provide year-round fun for generations of residents and visitors alike. And the owner of the Hopewell Bowling Center is Mr. Robert Zavgolis, who is not here this evening. Second is Broadway Garage, established in 1958. Broadway Garage has built a long-standing reputation for quality bodywork and mechanical repairs. For decades, the business has provided dependable automotive services to keep vehicles operating safely, efficiently, and looking their best. And again, Mr. Butch is here tonight. Yeah. And again, they were established in 1958.
He's worried I'm going to end up calling him again for a tow. I do have a really good funny story to share, though. This is a testament to just his great character. This was maybe about 4 years ago. I was coming back from VMI, and I was in my 99 Dodge Durango. And my parents will even attest to it. I'm not the best person when it comes to vehicle maintenance. And I'm driving along. It's pitch black, dark, at night down 288, and I start hearing the car doing like thump, 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 and I'm like, oh God, this is not good. This is not good. This is at nighttime. I'm still like 20 minutes out from home, and the car finally just shuts off. I mean, the brake doesn't work, the gas doesn't work, and so thankfully nobody else was on the road, and I was able to just glide, and slow down all the way to the point where the car finally stopped. Well, called Butch up. He came to give me a tow and took me back. Well, same time, I took my dad's diesel truck, and a mutual friend of ours ended up using the truck before I knew about it and didn't tell me that he almost used up all the diesel fuel in the truck. So we've already gotten the vehicle back to the garage. And now I'm driving the truck over to my parents' house to pick something up. Well, the truck, stops. It's out of diesel fuel. And so I call, Butch, I need you to come back and get me. And he goes, what vehicle is it now? He's like, it's my dad's green diesel truck, and you've got to keep it on the DL because he loves that truck more than he loves me. So, needless to say, he kept it a secret for a week.
Because it was a diesel, he ended up coming across another issue with it, so he had to go and order a part. And so my dad ended up stopping by, and he's like, "What's my truck doing over here?" And so then, it was unfortunate I had to confess at that point. But just a wonderful guy, and just calling at the way late dark hours he comes, and I also appreciate all that you do for our community as well. Thank all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Next, I would like to recognize Firestone Complete Auto Care, who has operated in Hopewell for 65 years, providing trusted automotive services ranging from tires, oil changes, alignments, and brake repairs. Backed by over a century of industry experience, Firestone has remained committed to helping Hopewell residents keep their vehicles running safely and reliably for years to come. And unfortunately, nobody from Firestone was able to be here this evening. Next is Harlan Construction. And I would like to ask Jake Harlan to come on forward.
Get the seal in the back.
For more than 6 decades, Harlan Construction has proudly served the Hopewell community as a self-performing, design-built general contractor known for its professionalism and integrity. As a family-owned and operated business, Harlan Construction has grown steadily while building lasting relationships and consistently striving to exceed expectations for its customers and the community. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Hopewell Iron and Metal Company. HIMCO has long served the community as a recycler and processor of ferrous and non-ferrous materials, playing an important role in environmental sustainability and responsible resource management. Proud to combine industry expertise with environmental stewardship, the company remains committed to helping build a cleaner and stronger community. And unfortunately, I don't think anybody from HIMCO is able to be here this evening. But the contact is Michael. Do you know how to say his last name?
Fredicangelo.
Thank you. J.T. Morrison, son of Hopewell. For generations, J.T. Morrison Son Funeral Home has served as a pillar of trust and compassion within the Hopewell community. Committed to supporting families during their time of need, the funeral home has provided comfort, care, and dedicated service while helping families find peace during life's most challenging times. They were founded in 1959, and the management of J.T. Morris was also not able to be here this evening, but they are Evan Coriel, Jonathan Terry, and Brandon Woody. Next, I would like to recognize J.W. Enox, Inc., and I would like to ask Mr. Enox to come forward. Originally established in 1920, J.W. Enox has played a vital role in the growth and development of Hopewell and Central Virginia for more than a century. From building supply and residential construction to manufacturing and commercial and industrial general contracting, the company has remained an integral part of Hopewell's business community through its commitment to quality turnkey construction services. Thank you, Mr. Enoch.
And he's a proud BMI guy, too.
Keydets. Next is Radke and Associates, and I would like to invite Mr. Ryan Radke to come forward. Founded more than 50 years ago with a single office in Hopewell, Radke Insurance has grown into one of the largest independent agencies in Virginia, while remaining committed to serving the local community with trusted guidance and personalized service. With a wide range of insurance solutions for individuals and businesses, Radke Insurance continues to help protect families, businesses, and communities across the region. Next is a fan favorite, Randolph Market, and I would like to ask Chris Neal to come forward. Since 1941, Randolph Market has been a beloved hometown grocery store and valued part of the Hopewell community. Known for its exceptional butcher shop, fresh produce, friendly service, and commitment to quality, Randolph Market has earned the loyalty of generations of residents while continuing to embody the spirit of a close-knit community. Go Dukes. Go Dukes. Next is Rose's Discount Store. Operating in Hopewell since 1967, Rose's has been a longstanding retail presence in our community, providing affordable merchandise and everyday essentials. For generations, Rose's has remained committed to serving local shoppers with value and convenience. And the management from Rose's was unable to be here tonight, but his name is Charles Brooks. Rosa's Italian Restaurant. I would like to ask Mr. Johnny to come forward. Celebrating their 50th year in business this year in 2026, Rosa's Italian has proudly carried forward Mama Rosa's tradition of authentic, old-world recipes and bold classic flavors. Dedicated to quality and freshness, the restaurant continues to use only the freshest ingredients with no preservatives, while personally overseeing every detail to deliver a welcoming and memorable dining experience.
Love your food.
Next is Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin-Williams serves professional, commercial, industrial, and residential commercial customers with industry-leading paint and coating products and expertise. Operating in Hopewell since 1957, the company has remained a trusted local resource, providing innovative solutions and dependable service while contributing to the community for nearly 7 decades. And they were established here in 1957, and their management is Robert Brown, who was unable to be here tonight. Next is Sly Plumbing, who is a locally owned and operated plumbing service for more than 60 years. This full-service company provides plumbing, heating, cooling, and gas piping services for both repairs and new installations. Licensed and insured, they proudly serve residential, commercial, and industrial clients while delivering reliable service across all major brands. And they've been doing business in Hopewell since 1958, owned by Mr. Brad Crowder, who is unable to be here. Next is Southern Auto and Cap Sales. Founded on trust, integrity, and respect, Southern Auto Sales has built a strong reputation as a local provider of quality cars, trucks, and accessories. The company is committed to delivering valuable and dependable service with a focus on competitive pricing and customer satisfaction that continues to earn the loyalty of the community. They opened in 1961 and are currently owned by Mr. Daryl Toretta, who does not like public recognition, so he did not feel the need to come this evening. Last but certainly not least is Truist Bank, who has operated in Hopewell since 1973. The bank has been a long-standing financial partner to the community, supporting individuals, families, and businesses with a wide range of banking and financial services. With a continued commitment to a relationship-driven service and local investment, Truist remains dedicated to helping the Hopewell community grow and thrive. And again, they've been here since 1973, and they are currently managed by fan favorite Mr. Forrest Cleveland, who is out of town this evening, unfortunately. Members of council, thank you for the opportunity to come to recognize our longstanding business community here in Hopewell. We hope to recognize some more of our longstanding businesses here in the coming months. And again, thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you.
Next, we will have Mr. Civitelli with our street paving program. I'm sorry, Ms. Jordan with our April financial.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. This is our April Finance Committee meeting. Citywide for April, revenues are trending 2.59% or $14.3 million higher for 26 versus 25. Expenses for April are trending 1.85% or $16.9 million higher for 26 and 25. Again, the key due dates for the city of Hopewell are December, April, May, and June. We have our upcoming real estate as well as PSC due. Increase in revenues stem from state revenues. Increase in HWR capital billing and collections from Manole. Increase in expenses stem from our annual increases in class and comp study that was implemented last year, as well as increases in schools and enterprise capital expenses. Any questions on our citywide? Okay. Our general fund for April. General fund for April is trending 1.404 or 936,000 higher in revenues for 26 versus 25. Expenses for 26 are trending 0.30% or 2 million higher than 25. Increases in expenses again stem from a class and comp study that was implemented last year. And there was a slight increase in our state revenues that we received as well. Any questions on our general fund? Okay. Our enterprise fund for April. Enterprise fund from April is trending 19.53% or 13.4 million higher in revenues in 26 versus 25. Expenses for 26 are trending 6.26% or 5.9 million higher in than 25. Increase in revenues for HWR comes from on-time billing, capital billing for 26. We're billing up front now. Increase in expenses stem from working through capital projects, including the DEQ NOV. Compared to last year, HWR has spent $6.8 million year to date versus $1.5 million this time last year for 25.
Mr. Ordens, have we gotten the $250,000 from the Advanced 6 DEQ consent order that's supposed to go towards the wastewater plant?
I haven't seen it come in yet.
So we actually have a meeting with DEQ later this week to discuss the memorandum of agreement that will allow that process to move forward. So we're going to talk project and process.
Okay, thank you.
All right, our schools. Schools is trending 5.94% or 12.4 million higher in revenues for 26 versus 25. Expenses are trending 3.71% or 19.7 million higher in 26 versus 25. The decrease in federal revenues stem from the ESSER grant. Increase in operational expenses are for 26. We're also waiting for third quarter Head Start reimbursement of roughly $1.3 billion. Also, I would like to note that on the citywide general fund, enterprise, and school, they have been projected out to the end of the fiscal year. Our projections for citywide for the end of the fiscal year gives us an overall revenues over expenses an increase of $977,000, almost $1 million. For our general fund, we're looking at $1.3 million revenues over expenses projected out for the end of the fiscal year. Okay. Our accounts payable and debt services. Invoices processed for the month of April, 1,828 invoices. Dollar amount is $6,747,227. We are up to date on all of our debt payments. We have a remaining of $1.8 million to pay for the end of the fiscal year. 26 year end is approaching. We have started planning on meeting with David Foley. He's supposed to come in site in August, so that we'll make our December 15th deadline for fiscal year 26. Okay.
You said December 15th?
That's a deadline to submit the ACFR for 26.
I thought we were shooting for November 15th.
Well, we're trying to get it earlier. That is the goal. David has stated that he will make us the number one priority for this upcoming year, but it is due December 15th.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Today I have prepared for you the city's street paving program. Just a quick update as to what the city has done over the last 12 months or so. We've expended about $4 million in paving, and that has included areas in Mansion Hills, Five Forks, and Danville area. Go ahead. Recently, we have completed a paving condition assessment that was performed by Timmons Group. It is still in draft format, so we are waiting to give you guys the final product. But what this was an economic analysis that was performed providing a paving capital improvement plan with recommended budget planning. The three main metrics that were utilized in this assessment was a PCI, a paving condition assessment. These are your surface level defects. So these are potholes, cracks, things of that nature. We have a ride quality index, which is your RQI. This evaluates the roughness of the road, so how bouncy is it? And then ultimately we have a surface quality index, or SQI. This was ultimately the metric that we used to develop a maintenance and rehab treatment program. So this takes into account both PCI and RCI. And also included in the assessment and inventory of our road assets. So this includes traffic signals, signage, manholes, things like that. And ultimately, the city's goal is to reach a state of good repair, which the state defines as the most cost-effective pavement preservation treatment that are needed. So not just mill and overlay. What this assessment found was that generally the city's road network was assigned an average value of 87 PCI, which is a rating of good. So according to the assessment, this indicates that the city has a high-quality network of streets. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't work to be done, but it means that we're in a good state to address these problems. In order for the roads to reach a state of good repair, as defined by the state, the city would need $84 million in funds. So all roads that were assigned a PCI value below 65, which is the minimal acceptable PCI rating as proposed by Timmons Group, are recommended to be prioritized for maintenance and repair activities. But remember, SQI is what we're utilizing here to conduct our treatment plan. So it's not always the road that's in the worst shape, it's what is the best bang for the buck for the city. You can see tables here. This indicates to you the number of segments. Each road was broken down into segments, the total miles, and the PCI rating, that matrix. So 192 is very good, and then so on and so forth. And then on the left, that colorful table, I know it's kind of hard to read, but that is the treatment options that Timmons Group gave us based off that SQI. So just some more findings for you guys. This is a breakdown of what the assessment found for each ward. What you're seeing here is that Ward 1, generally speaking, is the lowest ranked SQI. So that might not come as a surprise to some. And also, not only just being the average SQI being ranked the lowest, it also had the most road segments that were below a 65 PCI. And remember, PCI is your service level defects. So next steps, as I said, we're still in draft format, so we're still working with Timmons Group to develop that CIP for us of what we're going to pave. But we have about $2 million in earmarked funds for FY27. That is up to our discretion in terms of what roads we select. We have an additional $500,000 in earmarked funds, but that is strictly for Hummel-Ross Road and Route 10. So next steps would be develop that paving plan using those funds. We'll establish a prioritization criteria. So not only are we just talking about different types of treatments, but we're talking about whether it's an arterial road or a collector roads or a main road, City Point, Broadway, things like that. And if there's any utility projects in the way or upcoming, we'd like to coordinate with those companies. That way we're not duplicating efforts or repaving already paved roads. And also with this assessment was a recommendation to complete this assessment every 3 years. So a recommendation for next steps would be to approve that kind of assessment every 3 years. But we will also perform an annual update as to how we are attacking these roads found in the assessment. So I know that was brief, I know that was quick, but I'll gladly answer any questions that you guys may have.
This is very, very helpful.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I do have a question, and maybe this is not part of this, but this has to do with the striping that was done on Broadway that is such a mess that was done just about 4 years ago, not quite 4 years ago. Is any of, repairing that, getting that fixed, is that incorporated in any of this?
It was not. It didn't. The technology is only there to detect defects that have already been.
Understand. Okay.
So it doesn't take into account I guess you mean striping that might be curvy.
Well, no, you know, when they put the bike lanes in and it's all, it's just, so, it's really just, it's really embarrassing.
Yeah, it was strictly just on the condition of the roads in terms of the pavement. So that's something we can look into further if you guys
think we
like.
should.
But
I think we
no,
definitely
this
should.
solely the focus of this was for paving.
Okay, but thank you
Yeah,
very much, Josh.
of course.
Appreciate it.
If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a gentleman that asked about lines, redoing some lines on the
Did,
pavement,
yeah.
maybe a couple of months ago.
He said he couldn't see when he was
And,
running.
have we gotten anything back on that?
I'm not familiar with this off the top of my head, but if you would like to email me what we're talking about,
Yeah.
I will gladly look at this.
Mr. Rogers was, yeah, there's,
That was a question of fourth fork, and it is included in part of the PCI where they noted which streets and need that extra payment.
yeah, I know the ones that are being paved are being relined, but it's certain areas that, like Mesa Drive, I mean, some of them lines there you can't even see, like school zones or railroad or anything like
And
that.
that is included
Okay.
in the report.
All right.
Streets need those.
Okay. Thank you.
Like the 3-year assessment.
And Josh, this might be a question for you. It might be for Monique or for Stacy. But of the $2 million that we have set aside, is that just our local dollars and VDOT dollars?
So it's the general obligation bond, so it's the GO
Okay.
bond. We were under budget from our last paving job that took place in the Danville area, so we have some other additional already encumbered funds, and then the SGR funds, the State of Good Repair funds, that is to be obligated to the Hummel Ross Road and Route 10 intersection. That is totally 100% subsidized, so there's zero local funds on that.
Okay.
But to answer your question, the money that's earmarked for FY27 is all local funds.
Okay, so when are we looking at submitting the next set of roads to get the VDOT 50/50 share?
The grants are in the fall, so as a part of this program, we were going to monitor grants so that we can address these roads. We're constantly looking at it. We just actually submitted a grant for Safe Streets for All for our action plan, so we're addressing grants. We just don't have anything right now in the queue for the paving.
Okay. All right, so you answered that question. And can you guys, and this might be something, Mr. Jones, we speak with Virginia American Water with, seeing when these utilities come through, if instead of just doing just the patch job that they do, if they're the last utility that comes through, if we can do a cost share agreement that says, all right, instead of just patching this, what percentage are y'all willing to put towards paving the street? And then that way we can finish that street with the remainder percentage. So that way we're maximizing dollars. We did that with one utility. I'm blanking on it.
We did that with Columbia Gas for
Yeah.
the Five Forks, and we've tried to do that. I've tried to do that with Virginia American Water for our last paving job. Ultimately, they found that it was too expensive to do that. But we do since the Five Forks one with Columbia Gas, it's a great idea, and that's something I try to explore every time when we address this paving.
And then I know that there was, at our last city council meeting, we had a concern from some citizens that were over in the Kings Court neighborhood about the quality of work that was, I think, contracted through with Columbia Gas. Can you guys go back through and do a quality control check? Because from our understanding is this was done, I believe it was within a year, and there shouldn't be a bunch of slumps and curvature in there. I mean, 5 years, yeah, you'll start getting that. But within a year, unless a bunch of tractor trailers and overweight vehicles are coming through there, there shouldn't be those issues.
All right, well, we'll look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that to feed off that is something that I was going to say. In particular, like the one in front of 7-Eleven, the city will work on that, and then within 6 months to a year, it's back to caving in.
On Broadway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then one over there in front of Carr Brothers, that's always an issue.
Okay.
So it seems like, as the mayor was saying, when we do work our patch jobs, even if we had to go forth and
Right.
put some of it in that would be a whole lot better, because within 6 months they're back again.
Okay.
But thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
This is
you.
great.
Yeah.
This is great. I think
Awesome.
this is what
Can
we've
you-
been asking for a long time.
Shade, can you scroll up the table just a little bit real quick? Yep, right there. Okay. I want Miss Pelham to see. Yeah, she's my battle buddy when it comes to street paving. It was the one thing that we agreed 100% on, that we needed more done. That Ward 3 roads and Ward 6 roads are darn close in terms of getting paved.
And Ward 1 is way overdue.
Yeah, and of course, as we said, Ward 1 is at the very bottom.
Way overdue. Way overdue. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Just wait. So, timeframe wise, when will we know which roads will be addressed?
So I actually just, like this evening, I got final deliverables from Timmons Group. So we are going to take all into account, and we'll assess the results and see which roads we would like to get paved. I don't see why there should be any kind of extensive time period for coming up with those conclusions. So I think within 4 to 6 weeks is fair, and it could very well be sooner. I just want to be a little cushion there just in case. But I think within a month or so.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
of course. I think I'm up next.
But I'll say, yeah, he has the next one. He has an encore performance on a very fitting topic for today and
Yes.
yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, so for now, we have our stormwater resiliency plan. Just some background. What is a resilience plan? A resilience plan supports the development of comprehensive, inclusive local and regional strategies to address both present and future needs. In 2022, City Council did adopt the city's stormwater resilience plan, which identifies short, intermediate, and long-term range stormwater projects. They address both maintenance needs as well as localized flooding concerns. However, when submitted to DCR, they rejected it. Their primary concerns was that these were maintenance repairs. There wasn't enough specific timeline as to how we were going to implement these projects, and a couple of other things that less of a focus on natural-based solutions when it comes to addressing these things. So those were some of the current concerns that DCR had when it came to our local regional resilience plan. In 24, however, the Crater PDC, through the CFPF fund with DCR, they were awarded to develop a Crater Regional Resilience Plan, and that includes 7 localities, which of course includes Hopewell. So this is a little bit different of a regional resilience plan than we're used to. It doesn't just focus on flooding. It focuses on all kinds of different natural disasters. So extreme heat, tornadoes, windstorms, and water quality. We've, as staff, have opted to participate in this regional resilience plan, and by doing so, once approved by DCR, the city has the opportunity to adopt this, and that will set us up for funds to be eligible for project implementation. So we can construct these projects that we've already identified. What can we do next? So what's ongoing right now? Currently, the Crater PDC is partnering with Weston and Sampson to develop the regional resiliency plan. As I've said, we've already opted in to participate in it via the Regional Steering Committee, which ensures that the plan's goals, metrics, and strategies are in line with what the city's needs are. The final deliverables of this plan will include a capacity needs assessment, goal and objective setting, climate vulnerability assessment, as well as that regional resiliency plan with prioritized actions. Thus far, city staff has identified priorities. Again, this is all in draft, so if you guys have any recommendations, we'll gladly accept them. What we've identified as our priorities is to assess, prioritize, and upgrade the city's aging and undersized storm system, retrofit developed areas with modern stormwater controls, green infrastructure, tree canopy, and other nature-based solutions to reduce runoff and flooding impacts. So these were one of the reasons why we got rejected from our first go-around. We would like to strengthen storm response readiness by improving equipment, operations, and coordination during major storm events. Public education, we like to improve it on flooding, drainage, and storm preparedness. And lastly, identify flood-prone critical facilities and evaluate drainage or flood-proofing needs. So any critical areas that belong to the city that we feel are flood or are flood-proof or not flood-proof. We've also developed strategies, again, in draft format. We would like to build regional and local capacity, so that could be staffing, that could be training, certifications, or other versions of continuing education. As we've talked about for the paving, improve grant readiness. We track grant cycles and funding opportunities. We already have grant writing support on retainer, so this is something that we already utilize. Strengthen planning and policy, so ultimately that would be to adopt the Crater PDC Regional Resiliency Plan once it's ready in final format, which we will present to you guys. And then protect critical infrastructure and inform the public. So create public education and outreach material. It's very similar to the priorities. So what are next steps? Ultimately, next steps are to continue providing direct support to the PDC as they prepare final deliverables. Ensure that the Hopewell's prioritized stormwater resilience projects are in line with the Regional Resilience Plan framework. So we've already identified projects, so we want to make sure it fits the narrative of that Regional Resiliency Plan. Review the city's identified stormwater resilience strategies and priorities with you guys, and have you guys provide confirmation or any additional input. And lastly, present final deliverables again to council once complete so we can consider formal adoption of this plan. That's it for the presentation, but again, I'll take any questions.
Do you guys have an idea of when this regional plan will come to before us for approval? Or
Sorry, this is Andrew. He's with the Crater PDC, so he's here to answer any questions.
some of my YMCA workout buddies too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told Josh I'd come by because I figured, of all people, Mayor would have questions. Right now, we are expecting final draft form from Weston Sampson next week. Once we have that final draft form, we'll be presenting it to our steering committee, which includes people from all 11 localities, which they'll go over that final draft. They'll make comments. Once we get those comments back in, we'll then present it for public comment. That way, everybody can kind of get a look at it. After we incorporate those comments, we're going to present it to each one of our 11 localities, give you guys a chance to look at it, comment on it, and then hopefully pass it, adopt it as part of the Regional Resilience Plan. Right now, as far as time frame goes, before we get it to you guys, the commission has to pass it. So we have our commission meeting at the end of August. We also have another one in October if we don't make it. So it's going to be one of those two meetings that the commission will pass it. Immediately after that is when we're going to start working with the 11 localities in order to give you guys a chance to look at it and pass it. So it would be the first possible meeting after it passes. We would contact y'all and we can get on the agenda so that you can look after it. And of course, we want to get it to you ahead of time so that you can actually read through it. Because it's not a small document. It's going to be a fairly significant document. So I would expect, hopefully, as we move forward, you guys get a look at it. If everything goes well, say September, October timeframe, and then we can get it passed and accepted by FEMA and present it to the National Flood Insurance Program as needed before the end of the year.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. For our actual local one, like the list of projects, can we get an updated prioritization of those projects?
Sure.
And then when you plan on submitting those respective projects in a budget year, whether it's going to be 28, 29, 30, and so forth onward.
Will do.
And this question, kind of a free-for-all for staff as a whole, Mr. Jones. One of the I saw in here where it talks about the grant writing support that we have on retainer. Do you see any value, you again, Stacy, Monique, Josh, of us taking, setting aside some funds in maybe a future year and setting up a permanent grant writer within the city to supplement those efforts? The reason why I ask is because that is one of the outstanding recommendations that Alvarez and Marcel gave to us in our turnaround stabilization plan. And so, my thought is that this might provide some additional value as we look at trying to get more grant funding, as opposed to having to put the onus on on the local dollars.
Sure. So, Mayor, thank you for that. Ms. Jordan and I actually have this week started to take a look at our existing agreement that we have. And so I would just like some time to take a look at that agreement to see what's the more efficient route to get what you are looking to. But I certainly think trying to compete for more grant dollars is appropriate and something that we would look into.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you so much, John.
Good evening again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of council. This is a report that I like to do after the ACFR is submitted. It's just an overview of the annual comprehensive financial report, and it gives the community as well as council a better understanding of what they're looking at when they're reading the report. Okay. So our agenda is overview, audit opinions, the basic financial statements, notes to the financial statements, supplementary information, and fund balance. The purpose of today's presentation is to provide City Council and the community an overview of the results pertaining to the preparation and audit of the 25 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, or the ACFR. 25 or fiscal year 25 ACFR covers the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. It represents the financial position and results of the city as of June 30th, 2025. Audit opinions. Unmodified opinion. An unqualified opinion or clean opinion is an independent auditor's judgment that the financial statements are fairly and appropriately presented without any identified exceptions and in compliance with GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. An unqualified opinion is the most common type of auditor's opinion. The city has received an unqualified, unmodified opinion for the last 5 years, actually, on the ACFRs. A qualified opinion or modified opinion is where the auditor suggests future amendments or procedures to follow to avoid misstatements in the financial systems and to make the financial statements transparent and or cleaner. None of the areas audited received this opinion within the City of Hopewell. At the conclusion of 2025, the city's external auditor rendered the following opinion. Unmodified, which is the cleanest, highest level of assurance. There is no fraud, there is no misstatement, misappropriation, anything of that nature. The last three opinions, qualified, adverse, or disclaimer. A qualified opinion is the financial statements are generally accurate but has specific material issues. Adverse is financial statements are materially misstated. And disclaimer, the auditor cannot form an opinion due to severe lack of records. Form opinion. Again, the City of Hopewell has received an overall unmodified opinion on the audits of our financial statements for the 5th year in a row. Parts of the ACFR, 3 different types of financial statements are basic financial statements. We have our government-wide, which is a statement of net position, and a statement of activities. Fund financial statements, governmental fund, which is the balance sheet and statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. Proprietary funds, statement of net position, statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position, and a statement of cash flows. Fiduciary funds, which is excluded, statement of fiduciary net position, which would be like a hospital trust or agency fund, and funds not available and held in trust or agent capacity. Okay. So we'll move on to our basic financial statements, which are government-wide. Statement of net position. Government-wide includes both the city's governmental and business type activities. The statement of net position, or Exhibit 1 in the financial statements, is a snapshot of the city's assets and liabilities under the accrual basis of accounting at the end of each fiscal year. The statement of net position identifies the type and amounts of assets available to support city operations, how much the city owes to its vendors and bondholders, and the city's net position delineated based upon its availability to be used for future expenditures. This statement is also known as the balance sheet Exhibit 3 for governmental funds. Below is a summary of the condensed statement of net position for government-wide. For 25, our net position was $50,228,855. Okay. Basic financial statements government-wide continued. Statement of net position. Net position is divided into three major categories: net investment in capital assets, which is property, plant, equipment owned by the city; restricted net assets, non-expendable and expendable; and unrestricted net position available for use for any lawful purpose. Net investments in capital assets restricted for 25 was 0, unrestricted is 17.2 million for a net position of 50 million. Again, 50,228,855. Okay. Basic financial statements, government-wide statement of activities, also Exhibit 2, reflects the city's revenues and expenditures for the governmental and business type activities. Below is a breakout of the major sources of revenue for the city's governmental activities, which includes our general property taxes, other local taxes, use of money and property, Commonwealth of Virginia, other general revenue, charges for services, and federal revenues. The next slide is just a breakdown again of the expenses for each of its major funds within this governmental activities. So general government administration, our judicial administration, of course public safety is the highest, as well as education, public works, health and welfare, parks, recreation and cultural, community development, as well as interest. Our balance sheet, governmental funds. Exhibit 3 is comprised of three fund groups: general fund, capital, which is primarily our chief operating fund by the city; capital project funds, which accounts for all construction projects for general public improvements, excluding those of business type activities; and non-major funds, which is comprised of special revenue and permanent funds, and accounts for and reports on the use of fund in accordance with the specific purpose. Fund balance for the general fund is $43.5 million. Virginia public assistance from the condensed balance sheet is $11,000, which is really, that's the social services aspect. Our capital projects is 2.9 negative. That's coming from more so, we paid out a lot more than with the assets that we had. And then our non-major funds is $66,000 for a total of $40,581,800. Okay. Now we want to talk about understanding the fund balance. We've had a lot of questions from the community in regards to our fund balance. In governmental fund financial statements, fund balance may be comprised of 5 classifications and are mitigating financial risk, maintaining stable tax rates, and addressing cash flow timing. For purposes of fund balance classification, expenditures are to be spent from restricted fund balance first, followed in order by committed fund balance, assigned fund balance, and lastly, unassigned fund balance. While the GFOA recommends a minimum of 2 months of operating expenditures, Moody's Investor Services also often looks for 15% to 30% of revenues for a AA rating. The governmental fund types classify fund balance as below. Non-spendable fund balance. This classification includes amounts that cannot be spent because they are either not in spendable form, inventory, or legally or contractually required to be maintained intact, which is long-term amounts of loans or notes receivable. Restricted fund balance. This classification includes amounts that are restricted to specific purposes by external parties, constitutional provisions, or imposed by creditors, bond covenants. Committed fund balance. This portion of fund balance can only be used for specific purposes determined by a formal action of the city's highest level of decision-making authority, the City Council, before the close of the fiscal year and by majority vote of the City Council. Assigned fund balance. The portion of fund balance that the city intends to use for specific purposes as expressed by the governing body itself, the budget document or delegate official, the city manager. Specifically, the Rainy Day Emergency Stabilization Reserve was approved by Council in 2013 and was created by a segregated and portion of general fund unassigned fund balance. The purpose of this reserve is to provide an easy mechanism to tap reserves to address temporary revenue shortfalls resulting from temporary circumstances such as economic cycles, weather-related emergencies, etc. Unassigned fund balance, the portion of the fund balance available for any purpose, includes all spendable amounts not classified as non-spendable, restricted, committed, or assigned. Fund balance is not synonymous with cash, as it includes non-cash assets such as receivable and represent a point-of-time calculation. Basic financial statements, governmental funds. Our financial policy reserves that adopted by Council in 2024. Unassigned fund balance, general fund only, 20% or $10.9 million. It meets cycle cash flow needs to avoid revenue anticipation notes, which the city does. We do not have any RANs or bond anticipation notes that are short-term obligations. That's pretty much what they are. Allowing funding for unforeseen loss of revenues or increase in expenditures. The budget stabilization fund of 5% or $2.7 million. Committed fund balance used for emergency expenditures or revenue declines after use of unassigned fund balance. Replenishment of fund balance, unassigned or stabilization within 24 months of use. And our debt service and capital reserve of $3 million. That's the minimum. Used to mitigate impact of new capital projects or debt on general fund budget. Total need evaluated on an annual basis. This comes directly from our financial policies that the council adopted in 24. Basic financial statements continue the balance sheet. The unassigned fund balance for the general fund for 25 was $34,436,840. Statement of revenue, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. Statement of revenue, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. Exhibit 5 shows the city's revenues by source, expenditure categorized by the city's major functions or programs and other financing sources. The transfers for its governmental fund. This statement is also known as a statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position, or Exhibit 7 for proprietary funds, and a statement of activities, Exhibit 2 for government-wide financials. Revenue exceeds expenditure in the general fund by $7.8 million, or more than 12%. Okay. Proprietary funds include information on the city like City of Hopewell Regional Water, our sewer, solid waste, stormwater, and the Beacon Theater. The statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position, Exhibit 8, shows the city's revenues and expenses categorized between operating and non-operating and other related activities for its proprietary business type activities. Okay. Statement of cash flows, or Exhibit 9, provides information about the city's sources, receipts, and other payments of cash during the fiscal year. It classifies sources and use of cash into 4 categories and assists in determining whether the city has the ability to generate future net cash flows to meet its obligations as they come due, and assists in determining the needs for external financing. Statement of cash flows only exist for proprietary funds and or business-like activities. We move on to our notes to the financial statement, our long-term obligations. Of the $86,237,614 in total obligation or liability, this is included in Note 7 of the ACFR. $21,808,843 was in general obligation bonds, backed by the full faith and credit of the city. Of the total obligation or liability, $2.3 million were due and payable within 1 year. The breakdown across governmental and business type activities in sewer is below. The breakdown also includes our pension, OPEB, revenue bonds, landfill, as well as any school obligations we have as well. Okay. The supplementary information, which is in the back, towards the back of the ACFR, Exhibit 12, budgetary information. It shows you the general fund budget to actual information presented for every source of revenue and category of expenditure by major function or program in the general fund, inclusive of debt service as well as transfers. The pension data, net pension liability, employer contribution, and other post-employment benefits, or OPEB. Information is presented in the supplementary information section. combining statements and non-major funds supporting schedules. This section includes combined statements for non-major functions. Non-major funds include both special revenue funds, such as federal and state projects, community development, such as CDBG funds, and stormwater funds, as well as permanent funds, such as cemetery, perpetual care. It also includes our agency funds, such as special welfare. This section also includes budget to actual supporting schedules. Also in the back of the ACFR, if you look at, I believe it's either table 10 or 11, you can also see the collection rate for how we collect on our real estate and everything else. That's also included in the ACFR as well. Are there any questions?
Vice Mayor Joyner?
I have a question. When will we did not, David normally gives, they hand out the audit report. When are we going to receive that?
I will get with David.
Can you check on that?
I sure will.
Thank
Yes,
you so
ma'am.
much.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
Yes.
that. Thank you, Stacy.
Mhm. Any other questions?
Seeing no other lights?
So we'll go through this again at the end of 26, so we can go through it step by step with the ACFR in hand.
Sounds great.
Great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Next up is, it is still Miss Jordan, but I think Mr. Sanderson's going to take over this one. Let her save her voice for a little bit later.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. Jimmy Sanderson with Davenport and Company. We've got a presentation, and Mr. Jones, welcome, obviously. We've got a presentation, a lot of stuff in here. You tell me if you'd like me to go through the beginning part that sort of lays out your debt and other things, or go straight to sort of the update that we did from last time. Whatever.
I think just the update.
Okay.
Is
So for members of the audience, that this is online, obviously, but there is some background on your debt that you can flip through here. But let's jump to slide 14, page 14, if we could. Keep going, right? One more, right there, perfect. Just a reminder, we're just looking at Moody's methodology right now for the city. They have a scorecard that we've gone through before. That's sort of numerical right out of your audit and out of some data that Moody's collects. There are notching factors that they can notch you up or down based off certain things. And then there is what they call other considerations that really gives them a little bit more flexibility and leeway with moving the rating up or down from the scorecard that you actually get. Next slide. Just a reminder of the main categories they look at in the scorecard: your economy, and then there's some metrics under that. Financial performance, generally institutional framework. That's one that's the same for all Virginia local governments. And then the last one is leverage, or your borrowing, and that also does include pension liabilities too. So and you're going to see here that actually impacted the scorecard a little bit this past year. So we've got on the next slide FY20 ACFR, and then all the way out. Let's go to page 20, which is based off FY25. Yeah, ACFR. And a couple things that I'll point out. You increased in two categories, in particular the financial performance. That was predominantly because of your liquidity. That was revised from the prior year, and so that was an increase in your liquidity that's shown in your FY25 ACFR. And the other one was on your leverage side. You moved up into the AAA category, the very strong category. That was predominantly because of a change in the pension liability calculation. The discount factor was revised in the 25 versus the 24 audit. So it actually lowered the amount of pension obligation that you have. That's why you improved there. You're much closer to where you had been in prior years before 24. Again, so I'll just point you to the far right at the top there. There's a score that comes here. It's a 2.7 score. That is a AA2 rating, and you're right there in the middle of the AA2 category. You're actually a little bit on the higher side there too as well. So that's a positive. A couple things to point out. This does not include the 2025 debt that we borrowed, because we borrowed that after the end of the FY25 fiscal year. And it also doesn't include the borrowing that we're looking at doing now. We did go back and run and just include that debt in here to see if it changed the numbers. It really didn't. You go from a 2.7 to a 2.83, so still well within that AA2 category. Let's go to the next page, if we could. Again, this is sort of what we described as a heat map, right? The AAA, if you're in the AAA category, it's more green. The beige is the AA, and the pink is the A and below. There are just some categories that you don't have a lot of control over. Certainly, you don't have in the short term. That's the economy in particular, and you can see that there's certainly some areas where we can improve there. Hopefully, that will happen over time. And the rest of the page, if you go down, Hopewell is on the far left. You're in that green or that beige category, which is in the AA or higher, which is great. We've included some of the other surrounding jurisdictions as well to see where their scorecards came out, so you could compare yourselves to. One of the things I just want to point out again, if you look at Petersburg, they score out at a AA2 as well. Their rating, though, comes out at an A1. So there was some notching that the rating agencies, Moody's in this case, is doing with Petersburg, and that's one thing that, it's still a little bit of time to tell when we finally talk to the rating agencies and see where we come out and whether they notch us down a little bit, just given our history, and see where they come with that.
Vice Mayor Joyner?
Is the notching is it subjective?
So there are, if we go back one more slide, there are certain areas that are specific notching, and you can see down the bottom left, right? Mm-hmm. The other one is a little bit more black box, right? They're going to keep some control to be able to move it a little bit. So the specific notching factors are laid out in the methodology, and then there are what they just call other considerations that they may want to take into effect.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Sanderson, with that the other considerations piece, I mean, just in the last, from the fiscal year 24 to 25, we've shown with your 2.83 mark, 14.5% improvement over that 1 year, and we took the extra effort to go back in previous audits in order to ensure that they're unmodified opinions. I mean, does this? I mean, in your professional opinion, and I know that you can't speak for the rating agencies, but does this help provide a good case to keep us at a AA2, especially since we're on the lower side of the?
I mean, if and who knows how they'll ultimately come out. I mean, obviously our position is going to go to them and say, look, we've got our audits on time now. We're in a good place. I still think that they're going to say, I want to see that the processes that you put in place are going to be able to produce one on time going forward. That's the only area where I think there's a little concern. Okay. But again, making sure we've got a process that we can demonstrate the process that we have in place, where there's procedures that I know y'all have been working on. Stacy's done a great job of getting these things done and done on time as well. But it's just a little too black box to give you a good answer. I mean, but absolutely, that's going to be the position that we're going to take. Is hey, we've righted the ship. We're able to produce these, and we're going to continue to do that. And these are the processes we have in place to ensure that.
Okay.
That's all I have. And just before I go, I did want to report back to council, and maybe Stacy's already mentioned it, but we are looking to close on the 26 borrowing. I think June 10th is the plan to have that done.
For the school bonds.
For the school bonds. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So good shape.
There they are, right there. I'll say there should be like some smiling faces over on this half right here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I do have one more question. Mr. Jones and Ms. Jordan, have we set a date yet on pulling the bond reinstatement working group together?
Mayor, we are still working on that. As soon as we get that date for you, we will let you know.
Okay.
But we certainly want to make sure we do that.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay. All right, next up, Ms. Martinez.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of council. Tonight, I come before you once again to celebrate our amazing employees. Tonight, we are representing the Vision Committee, and I'm going to bring up our chair, Ms. Patrice, to read the nomination, and our nominee, our awardee, is actually here in the audience as well. So we just want to make sure that we recognize him. And, of course, then I'll turn it over to Mr. Director Ward to say a few words as he is not in the department for us.
Good evening. So we're here to recognize James Jones. So today we are honored to recognize an exceptional member of our organization, someone whose dedication, expertise, and professionalism have earned them 2 separate nominations from colleagues in different departments. That alone speaks volume about the impact they make across our organization. As our GIS manager in the Planning and Development Department, this employee consistently demonstrates outstanding mastery of geospatial data and mapping systems. Their expertise supports critical daily operations and plays a vital role in advancing public safety. Thanks to their work, we have improved street center line data, address points, hydrant mapping, pre-incident planning tools, and other essential resources that first responders depend on. Their accuracy and attention to detail ensure that mapping data is reliable, current, and ready for use at any time. This level of precision directly enhances response efficiency, operational readiness, and the overall safety of our community. But technical skills is only part of what makes this employee exceptional. They are a true collaborator, someone who works seamlessly with every department. They take complex technical concepts and communicate them directly, making GIS tools practical and accessible for all users. Their ability to understand operational needs and translate them to effective solutions strengthens teamwork and improves departmental coordination. They also demonstrate impressive leadership. They are proactive in identifying opportunities for improvements, guiding projects from early concept through successful completion. Their efforts have modernized our mapping systems and enhanced our organization's ability to prepare and respond to emergencies. Colleagues repeatedly describe this employee as dependable, positive, and willing to go above and beyond. They balance assisting others and meeting their own deadlines, and they uphold a high standard of quality in every project. They take pride in creating tools that not only function flawlessly, but look professional and polished. Their positive attitude encourages others to contribute their strengths and work together toward shared goals. For their exceptional knowledge, teamwork, dependability, quality of work, and leadership, we are proud to present this employee with the Employee of the Quarter Award. Their contributions make our organization stronger every day, and we are truly fortunate to have them on our team. Would you like to come up?
Sorry, she said it at the beginning. Mr. James Jones. Mr. Ward, Director Ward, would you like to come up for a second as well? Again, I just want to give Director Ward, since he works intimately with him throughout his department, to give him a moment to speak as well.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Just wanted to say thank you, James. Well deserved. From the moment I met you, I knew you were going to be an absolute asset to the department and to the city. He's worked great with all departments, doesn't need any oversight, takes control, and that's what we appreciate. Thank you, James.
And James, I also want to say thank you for all that you do. And I think the team forgot probably one of your best accomplishments, and that is you are a hell of a good runner. This man, I think he had just started. I think it was the year that we ran the One City Marathon down in Newport News, or you had just it was real early on in your tenure, and running along, and the man was ahead of me for like 22 miles. I mean, just haul and tail. And someone said, "Yeah, he's running the race. He's running the race. You got to be on the lookout for him." Well, I'm just like truggling along and whatnot, and I finally actually caught up to him. And he pointed me out, introduced himself, and I think it was for about 2 miles. We had a great conversation where we were just talking about, the city, how we can improve the city and everything. And then you took off and you left me in the dust. So I was able to catch up to you, but yeah, you left me in the dust. But congratulations. Okay. Next up, Mr. Jones.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. We have Mr. Ellington from the from the Creative Planning District to speak with you all this evening about a recommendation to support the South Central Transportation Authority. And we'd like him to provide you an overview so you can understand what impact that might have for us here in the city.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, councilors, Madam Clerk, and to our new city manager, welcome, Mr. Jones. Jay Ellington with the Creative Planning District Commission. Thanks for having me this evening. I was here back in January. Ms. Joyner was in charge of the meeting that night, and talked about the South Central Transportation Authority. So what I like to do is run through this slideshow with you real quick. Again, what I'm doing is going back out into all our local jurisdictions, talking about this authority, how it gets created, what it can do for our region, as well as trying to figure out how do we get it from talking about it to getting it in place for us in the region as well. If you look at the slide, you can see that there are other transportation authorities. Let's start up in Northern Virginia with the purple one. Out to the east of us at Hampton Roads is the red one. Excuse me, the Richmond area one is the light blue colored one there. Our proposal is for a larger region, primarily that leads you into Virginia. The purpose is local control of monies, local control of projects that VDOT runs through their system, and help us move transportation forward in this region. Next slide, please. You can see a better shot at that scope of the area as well, and it can have up to as many as 12 or 14 local jurisdictions as part of the members. Y'all have already passed in January when I came and talked to you a resolution to support this. So you're already on board. I've got 4 others that are already on board, but I'm trying to go back out to all our jurisdictions, talk about it again, make sure you understand it, and also try to get resolutions from as many of the local jurisdictions as I can in the region. When I made a presentation down in Southside PDC, which is the 3 counties to the southwest of us, one of those counties said, well, I'm not in that. You didn't have me in the boundaries. And so we added Halifax into that group as well. So as we go about talking about what this can do, we've got folks that are very interested. Number one, you get local monies. Monies will come back to Hopewell for transportation. And I'll flip to that slide here in just a minute and show you a little bit of that local money. Next slide, please, ma'am. This shows a little bit about the high-speed rail network. Part of the funding in this is for public transit. This is a portion that could be considered as a funding mechanism in the future. And if you'll look, you can see the North Carolina side is already ready for this Richmond to Raleigh area. We are not ready on the Virginia side at this point in time. It's just one of the projects that could be part of the system. Next slide. I talked a little bit about that stable funding source and being able to match funds. Just recently this year, we were able to get 3 projects through VDOT in our region that got funded as a combination of local monies and VDOT monies. It took most of these projects 18 to 20 years to get up to that level of funding in the VDOT system. Now, the reason I tell you that is if we have our own money, we are able to take that money and match projects with. We are able to put money to new projects that we want to put new money to. from new money. These are tax dollars. Remember, they come to you in two sources. So they come to you in gas and diesel fuel taxes. These are taxes that are already being collected by the Commonwealth and would be pulled off and given to you to control in the region. The other piece of that is a piece of the sales tax. In Virginia, we have 6.3% cents in sales tax. This represents another 7/10, which would take it to 7 cents. So in that, what that would mean would be 7 cents per $1,000 of expenditure. Not a whole lot for what we would get out of being able to have money to move around in our system. That local control, regional coordination is really important with this. Our Crater region, Mr. Harris worked with us on the Crater Regional Council. We have been really good at doing things together. So we are recommending in the creation of this authority that we stick with one jurisdiction, one representative. Some of our other the CVTA just in the Richmond area is done by population. So my example for you is Chesterfield County, because it's got close to 400,000 people, has 4 representatives on there based on a population standard. What we're recommending here, because we've done such a good job at regional working together, is one jurisdiction, one vote. The other piece of that is the local control piece where you do, and Madam Clerk, can you go to that slide that's got the spreadsheet on it? It's right at the end. There we go. What I wanted to share with you here is we asked VDOT to help us do this. It does have how many gallons of fuel or Hopewell has going through it, both gasoline and diesel, and then how much revenue that would produce. And then it has how much sales tax money is going through and how much revenue that would produce. And let me look out here and see if I can see these little numbers myself. Out to the far right, the total projected for local, regional, and public transit would be a little over $2 million. And of that $2 million, 55% of it is what we're recommending to go to the local jurisdiction. Those would be new monies coming to you for transportation. You could use them for the asphalt overlay program, trails, sidewalks, anything in relationship to transportation in the area. Then you can see we've got 35% would go to regional projects, or 700,000. So those would go to regional projects, and you'd sit on that, one person from representing Hope will sit on that authority and make the decision about where those dollars go for everybody, which projects they get spent on. And then the last piece is 10% for public transit. Those would be coordinated with the public authorities in the region, as well as what the city may desire for transportation for the public. So that's a little bit about the money. Madam Clerk, if you'll go back, let me pick up a couple of things. Okay, let's stop on that triangle there. Remember, I said this is a new state agency I'm asking you to support. So we are asking you to create an authority that deals with this new monies, creates the monies, and sets the governing piece in place. The Senator Aird asked me to go back out and talk to you about this because she wanted to make sure that all our jurisdictions know what this is about, know that it does have a tax situation in relationship with it, and how it would operate. This shows you a little bit of that. A board of directors, one jurisdiction, one vote. A physical entity, I would have to have a physical entity from this area step up and say, we'll be the physical entity for the authority. So the money would transfer from the state to the physical authority, then to the Crater Planning District Commission to be the operator or transportation operators in that triangle. So that's how that situation would work. Next slide, please, ma'am. And it is about tax dollars. I said a little bit about that. It is would have all power of the Commonwealth and an authority. So it would have voting jurisdiction over transportation projects in the region. I didn't bring it tonight with me, but I have a CVTA, which is the Richmond Region Transportation Authority pamphlet that they put out on just recently on monies that they have moved forward and projects they've moved forward in the last 3 years. They're going into their 4th year of existence now, and they have moved about 25 projects up in the system because they had the funds to match it or to put money up for it totally. So it is very beneficial. Y'all already know that we are a transportation hub. And what better? You know, we control the border here, okay, between 85 and 95. And that's one of the reasons we looked at how that is laid out so we can help that. And we have a lot of fuel consumption in those areas as well, too. The authority would be able to issue debt itself. It would be able to bond against on projects. So it has the same authority as any other local jurisdiction may have. Also having all the checks and balances, including the audit, long-range planning, financial obligations, and the public accountability piece. The last slide is about adding quality of life in our region and trying to keep up with our economic growth as well, and making sure that we connect our region together. This is one of those things that looks out into the future and says, we have to do this together. And so that's the important piece of why it is a regional authority with local controls in place. And the last piece is I'm here trying to get through the March through June time frame and get around to everybody, talk about this, answer any questions that you have. And again, then it would go forward as a proposed bill in the legislature. So they moved the date up on when you could introduce bills this year. So I've got until that gets started July the 1st. Don't have to hit that date, but again, I need to get it in as close to that date as I can, especially if I want to get one of those low numbers, you know. So I'd like to have bill number 1 or 5 or whatever, so we get it out there, because this is my 2nd year working on this, and I've seen y'all twice now. So, but again, we've got to show the legislature that we're serious about this, serious about helping our own selves move this region forward. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for you. I'm glad to answer any questions that y'all have.
Any questions? Seeing no lights. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for your support already, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Sure. Mayor, I just want to make sure that I follow with Mr. Ellington. Did he say that we have already passed the resolution? Is that what's needed? Okay. All right. Thank you. Sure.
Okay. All right. Moving on to actions from closed meeting. We don't have any, except we got to do you guys got to set the public hearing for in 2 weeks. For school board. Yep. All right. So we'll go ahead and open up the regular meeting, and we will have the prayer done by Reverend Blow, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by myself.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council. Thank you for the privilege of being able to pray for you tonight. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight thanking you, Lord God, for this beautiful day that you've made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Father, we're asking, Lord God, that you watch over this meeting. Lord, I ask you to bless the mayor, vice mayor, and all the city council, Lord. Let us be on one accord with one mind. Let them, Lord God, take their jobs, Lord God, very seriously, Lord, for they are entrusted with the account for the entire city of Hopewell. Let them, Lord God, honor you in their decisions, and let them bless the residents of this city. Father, we thank you for what you're doing in our midst, and we thank you for your spirit that resides here. We bless them, and we bless the people of Hopewell in the precious, mighty name of our Savior. Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, do we have a motion to adopt an amended consent agenda to have C3 moved to the next city council meeting?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Motion on the floor is to approve an amended consent agenda with C3 being moved to the first meeting in June. Motion's been made by Vice Mayor Joyner and seconded by Councilor Day. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call, please.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. Moving on to communications from citizens. Madam Clerk, will you please read the statement?
A communication from citizen period limited to a total of 30 minutes occurs at each regular city council meeting. Persons addressing council approach the microphone, give their name, and if they reside in Hopewell, their ward number. Each comment is limited to 3 minutes. No person is permitted to speak on an item scheduled for public hearing. All remarks must be addressed to the council as a body. Any person who makes personal, impertinent, abusive, or slanderous statements or incites disorderly conduct in council chambers may be barred from future communications from citizens and removed.
Okay. Only person I have signed up for tonight is Mr. Roger Sanders. And I was hoping that you were going to come and see the presentation tonight.
John and Mr. Roger and Stacia, I really appreciate your update on my request on the King's Court. You said exactly what I want to be told. You need taken care of.
Yes, sir.
It was exactly what you just said. That it wasn't right. Y'all spend too much money and it ain't right. So I want to fix it right. I appreciate it.
Thanks. And do you mind? Well, we got your phone number, so that way when we get the update from Mr. Santelli, we can we can communicate to you what has happened and what we can do to help try to remediate some of the issues.
Yeah, it's on street on Dublin Street and Orange Street. It's getting worse and worse.
Yes, sir.
And y'all gonna complete from the Dublin Street on down to the end.
That was the exciting thing about tonight's presentation.
Well, I know.
Oh no. Well, no. But what it did was it verified, a lot, that a lot of these roads, are on the satisfactory to some of the lower side, and that that area, on the map shows that it does need to be done sooner rather than later.
Yeah, but I really appreciate it because you have to spend too much money. It ain't right though. So I want it to be fixed.
Yes, sir.
It get worse because they been ducking this big hole. It getting worse and worse. When it rain, it's terrible. So
right.
I need somebody check it out.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to our regular business, we have our first public hearing with Mr. Ward.
evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. Tonight we have a right-of-way vacation request for Maryville Avenue. The request relates to a stretch of public right-of-way that is adjacent to and in between parcels 0670015 and 0730515. The size of the right-of-way that's being requested is approximately 1,089 square feet, located in Ward 2 and zoned R3. It's going to get a little tricky as I get through this, so hopefully my maps will add some clarity for you. But PMT Investors has requested the city to vacate the unimproved right-of-way, which we'll be showing in blue in just a second, that transects two of the properties on Maryville, and those are the two parcels I've mentioned. So this is the blue area that separates these two parcels. You will also notice that the lower parcel actually extends over the city street. There is no street right-of-way through here. So a city street exists crossing private property. You can see that in the green. So if I back up, you see the blue. You start with the two parcels. You've got the blue right-of-way that's being requested for vacation. Yet we also have this section of green where the city road crosses private property. So the applicant has offered to essentially dedicate the portion in green to the city to make proper road dedication if the right-of-way, the blue area, kind of do like a little land swap. The applicant gets the blue area, the city gets the green area, and it actually resolves a long-standing problem that's been here in the city for quite some time. So at the end of all this, if this is approved, this is kind of how the parcel will shake out. So it's on the right-hand side, outlined in blue. That's what the new parcel will look like with the vacated right-of-way and the road dedication. This was distributed. The request was distributed to several city departments. Water company has no issue with the vacation. Water renewal does not have a problem with the vacation, but does request a 10-foot easement for the sewer line. Public Works has no issue with the vacation and also agrees to accept the road dedication. No issue from Stormwater or the Fire Marshal. So with all of this comment, staff does recommend the approval to request this portion of vacation, require the 10-foot sewer line easement, and accept the road dedication on Maryville so that all of this can be fixed up. That's all I have for you tonight. I am available for questions. The applicant is also here if you have questions for Mr. Balshatz.
Okay.
Again, this is first reading, public hearing.
Okay. Are there any questions? Seeing no lights. Okay. We'll go ahead and we'll open up the public hearing. I don't have anyone signed up for tonight, so we're going to go ahead and close it.
Ms. Pelham wanted to.
I'm sorry. You know, on our rules, we can't let you sign. We have to have you sign up beforehand. I'm sorry. Go ahead. That's all right. Were there any questions for the applicant? Okay. Hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve the right-of-way vacation request from PMT Investors, LLC, for a portion of the unpaved improved right-of-way adjacent to parcels 0670015 and 0730515 as presented tonight?
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made by Vice Mayor Joyner and seconded by Councilor Ellis. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Councilor Ellis,
Yes.
Councilor Day,
Yes.
Councilor Rapoli,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Councilor Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ward.
Thank you.
All right. Miss English? Oh, and Dr. Hay. I didn't see you behind Pastor Blow. Is it this one right here?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we got this.
Good evening, Mayor Parton, Vice Mayor Joyner, council members, Mr. Jones, again, welcome, and Ms. Jordan. Good to see you all. We really appreciated our work session on the 11th, and we're happy to be here to provide a little bit more detail for council per your request. So thank you for the opportunity for being here. I am going to fly through this presentation. I will. Okay. We're good. This first slide is just a quick quote to start us off about the connection between our city's investment in our schools and our collective hope in all of our future. So I'm not going to read to you all. I'll just flip through. And the next slide is how we have sort of organized our presentation for tonight. We've organized it into 5 sections to allow for the flow. We've got lots of content, but our hope is that this can be a new beginning for both council and our school board to have more deeper conversations about our collective commitment to our children in the future. So you can just see the 5. We're going to start with a brief introduction, purpose and focus, We're going to go over the factors that impact our budget development, go into the actual budget process and leading up to the actual budget proposal, review a few proud outcomes and accomplishments that we have, and identify some ideas for moving forward and next steps together. Next slide, please. This slide is around our broad objectives for the future beginning tonight. We hope to have better communication. We hope to increase opportunities for us to collaborate together, to develop a deeper understanding of the needs of both council and the school board moving forward, to create additional opportunities for all of us to have a firsthand knowledge of the strengths and needs of both our organizations, to be united and one team in a public narrative and promise for the future of our schools. We've got some ideas on how to do that. We'd like to share that with you at a later date. We're going to provide you some more invitations to visit and participate in our schools more actively. And maybe most importantly, at least to me personally, to be able to set the new superintendent up for a successful transition and partnership with the city. Thank you. You're right on. Why public schools? I'm not going to read this to you, but obviously we all know that the importance that public schools have to our communities, especially communities like ours. They serve a very important purpose for our citizenry, and there are a number of things that they serve as in this slide. The next slide outlines our school board's main goals and focus areas, not just with respect to budget, but specifically ensuring that there is alignment of our goals and our budget. So you can see these bullets. I will briefly highlight those. We obviously have a main goal of improved accreditation status for all of our schools, increasing the number of highly qualified teachers we have in the classroom delivering quality instruction, expanding our balanced calendar and sort of revising our balanced calendar a little bit to focus more on a remedial approach where we will require participation and attendance for our students, hopefully then allowing us to see greater outcomes and connections between our calendar and the intercession experiences and student achievement increases. Obviously, continue to update our facilities, and you have been so gracious recently. We're very, very grateful. Staying competitive with employee compensation and benefits, reducing our staff-to-student ratios even more, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later in the presentation. Ensuring that all of our third graders, based on research, are reading on grade level, and providing increased opportunities. This one's near and dear to our school board in particular, increased opportunities for our students, not just to participate in dual enrollment programming, but to have greater access to the associate degree program, over which we're extremely proud, and building upon our new teacher apprenticeship program, where we are actually growing our own teachers with Hopewell High School students. Thank you. Next slide is our mission and vision, and basically our vision is centered around partnering and ensuring student success. Our mission is around making sure our students are seen, heard, and loved, and are equipped with the skills that they need to positively contribute to society. And our hope is, and we do focus on this, come back and positively contribute to our city. Next slide. There was a question about this last time, so we just provided this. This is the Code of Virginia requirement that we present every year our needs for our schools to our city council. Next slide. Again, I'm not reading, but this slide emphasizes the critical alignment on our budget as well, our budget priorities, and our student learning and success. So the second part of our flow tonight is the factors that impact our district budgeting, and we'll just move quickly through that. You will see on here this year specifically healthcare costs. We've had significant increases to healthcare costs, adequate staffing to meet the specific needs of our students. Competitive salaries is also always a factor. Our enrollment, our additional needs for upgraded technology, and our capital improvements programming after several years without funding. And again, every chance I get, we are so grateful for your help with our HVAC funding. Next slide. Thank you. This is a really important slide, and it's specifically about our students. Our demographics are a huge factor around our budgeting and our work. It's very relevant to our needs. We have obviously 7 schools, 3,900-ish students. 82% of our students are children of color. But the most relevant to our programming and our challenges is that 78% of our students are economically disadvantaged. The research is clear with this reality. Significant learning gaps are typical, and specialized, sometimes costly programming and supports are essential to closing those gaps and ensuring all of our students are able to be successful. The next factor is obviously enrollment and enrollment trends. This is always a factor, but it's not always significantly impacting staffing, as we discussed at our time together last time. But here is a snapshot of our enrollment decline in the city. As you, I know, are aware, this is a statewide issue based primarily on reactions to the pandemic and declining birth rates. That's according to Weldon Cooper. They are projecting, though, however, that this should stabilize for our community around school year 28-29. The next slide is just around a suggestion last time that potentially we might be losing students to private schools, in particular in our city, and the data does not support this. We lose about 3 students a year to our private school in the city, and with one exception, we had a small spike in 2024, and 7 students withdrew to go to private school locally. There is national data, just however, that private schools are also experiencing a significant declining enrollment during this time as well. The next slide you're really familiar with. This is, as you know, our capital improvements needs that have been compounded over time. Not anybody on this board's responsibility, and no one board's responsibility. It's just our circumstances as a city have prevented us from properly maintaining many of our buildings that are older, and their infrastructure needs have been compounded. But as you can see, our 3 main urgent capital needs continue to be our HVAC at Hopewell High School, roofing at Carter G. Woodson, and getting back on track with our bus replacement rotation. This next slide is just, again, to thank you for your capital investment in the HVAC at Hopewell High School. And these types of maintenance costs, lately we've had some problems, and we've been spending upwards of $10,000 a day to continue to maintain the air conditioning there right now. And we're just so thankful for your willingness to fix this problem so that we don't have to spend that kind of money, and we can get it nice and cool and better for our students and staff. Okay, next slide.
this slide is a work in progress, and that's because we met recently with Ms. Jordan and Mr. Jones, and this one takes a little bit of research, but we were able to find from Thursday to through the end of the week the cuts that you had requested to see from the last 5 years. We can get you the others. We just haven't had a chance to do that yet. A total of 142 staff reductions, 80 of those over the last 5 years, 80 of those were support staff, 54 were teachers, and 8 were administrators. Next slide is our SOQ funded position, and what's always important about this is that the SOQ funded positions are the minimum standard, the absolute minimum that the state will fund in order to operate at a basic level at all of our schools in Virginia. Obviously, we need more support, and you've given us that support, and for that we're also very grateful. But you can just see the breakdown. Our total employees is 694. 389 are funded by the state. Those are the minimum standard. 183 are locally funded. Thank you again. And 122 of those positions are grant funded. This, I apologize, the title is incorrect. That is breakdown of total positions, not SOQ. So this is that same number, that 694, broken down in between administration, support, and teachers. 400 of those 694 are administrators, 303 are teachers, and 347 are support professionals. The next 2 slides are just to provide you an idea of what our staff-to-student ratios are. That's a really important data point right now, and they're still good. They're not as good as they used to be, but they are still good. Kindergarten, first grade, and third grade, we're looking at 1-18 staff-to-student ratios. Second grade and fourth grade, 1-19, and fifth grade, 1-20. I will tell you, when I came here, however, in 2015, elementary was at 1-12, and secondary was at 1-17. So that's where some of those cuts have come. The next slide is, thank you. The next slide is secondary. That's a little bit different because it's different from grade level. We did that based on content. Science between the 2 secondary schools is 1-19 ratio. English is 1-20. Math and history are 1-21. The next slide represents a recent snapshot of how we compare regionally for starting teacher salaries. This is clearly a factor that we use in our budgeting. We're doing our best to stay competitive, and we've really done well over the last few years, but only able to rely on state-funded increases. We have to supplement for all other non-SOQ positions that are not funded. Those raises are not funded, which prevents us oftentimes from making big strides like Dinwiddie, for example. What has happened with Dinwiddie and how they've gotten out ahead of all of us now is some considerable local money to supplement the state funding for SOQ positions. And I'm going to pivot now to Janelle, who's going to go through the actual budget development and leading up to our budget request for this year. But before she does this, I want you to know that we went back after our last meeting with all of you, and after we discussed the city's position and for new monies for this school year, we have again identified cuts to cover our district needs. We still remain hopeful that the state budget is going to be better than the former governor's proposed budget, but we felt like we should build our budget proposal, especially at this late date, not your fault, but theirs, on the most conservative version so that where we have estimates of our revenues. We hope we don't have to make all of these cuts, but understand your situation and have rebuilt the budget based upon a level funding request again. And I'm going to pivot to Janelle.
Good evening. We'll go to the next slide. This slide is actually the same document you've seen a couple of weeks ago. It shows all 3 versions of the budget that are all possibilities because, as you know, the state budget is not finalized yet. We are hearing that we may not have a final budget until June. Therefore, we have built our budget on the governor's version since it is the most conservative of all 3. And these are just two pie charts showing the revenue overview of fiscal year 26, which is this current year, and fiscal year 27, which is next year. You'll notice that the state, federal, and city percentages remain pretty steady between the 2 years. The other source of funding changes between the years, and that is because that is made up of mostly grants that were carried forward from previous years, and those grant sources end in fiscal year 26. So the percentage of other revenue drops in fiscal year 27. And this just shows your local appropriations over the past several years. And this spending chart shows your spending by category. The first column is the current budget. The second column is the fiscal year 27 requested budget. This is how we spend our funds. So most of these categories show a modest increase. You will notice that operations and maintenance and technology categories show a larger increase due to the increased needs within these categories. You will also notice that the instruction category decreases by almost $3.9 million, or 7.5%. This is due to several grants that end in June of this year. So June 30th, 26, these grants end, so we cannot carry them forward to next year. And there's also intentional cuts that we have made to be able to stay within budget. And this is just a pie chart of the same thing. And you'll notice that most of our expenditures are under instruction. And this is the original staffing request that you saw at our last meeting. Just a reminder that we had started out with $1.3 million in staffing requests. And this next slide is our revised staffing request for this year. After our last meeting, we went back and determined what staffing requests we would actually absolutely necessary for next year. So that's down to $550,000. And this chart is showing the staffing and the non-personnel needs for next year. The first row is the $550,000 from the previous slide. The rest of the needs are increase in insurance rates, which is 26%, the governor's school tuition increase, Chromebook refresh that is needed, the cost of a 2% raise that's in the governor's budget, additional maintenance needs, and funding to finish up with the contract for our financial consultants that are helping with our Munis implementation. So this chart shows the additional funds that we would receive if the governor's version of the budget is passed. It shows that we would receive an additional $2.6 million. And from the previous slide, our needs were $3.7 million. So when we do that, we find that we have to cut about $1.1 million. And this is our prioritized list of potential cuts in the amount of $1.1 million. And finally, this is our fiscal year 27 proposed budget. The revenues are broken down by funding source: the federal, the state, the others, and the city contribution, which is level from last year. And then the expenditures are broken down by fund: our operating fund, textbook fund, cafeteria fund, and building and bus replacement fund. And therefore, this shows a balanced budget. All right, and I will turn this back to Dr. Hackney for the next section.
Promise we're almost done. Thank you for your patience. We want to end on some of the positives going on in our schools that you may or may not be aware of. This next slide is really busy, and I'm not going to read it to you again, but we have, for the 6th year in a row, been named one of Virginia's divisions of distinct innovation. We're excited about that. I mentioned earlier, we are building out and have received grant funding to build out a pre-apprenticeship program with Hopewell High School students to grow our own teachers here. You know some of these things. We were the first Virginia school division to ban cell phones. I do want to highlight this one. I'm so proud of this. We have incredible stability and longevity in our administration in this organization. The collective years of service for our principals and assistant principals only is 265 years, which translates to an average principal tenure of 21 years in this city, an average assistant principal tenure of 11 years. So these people show up every day, support the unique challenges that our schools have, and are here to finish the work and work so incredibly hard on behalf of the unique needs of the majority of our students. I'm not going to read all these to you. Our test scores, even as we speak, we are watching our current testing at year end. They're on an upward trajectory again since COVID, and we are so excited about that. We'll have more to tell you after we get through the school year. Our teacher retention has improved dramatically from 79% to 91%. We're really excited about that. Our graduation rate stays at or better than the state average. And we really believe that the image in Hopewell, in particular, not just around our city, but to include our city, but especially our schools, has changed dramatically over the last several years. And one day I'd like to tell you a story about a group of 11th grade students who invited me shortly after I had been appointed to the position to come visit their classroom and told me about their understanding of a 3-generation problem with the reputation of this city and how important it was to them that we work hard to change that. They said their parents didn't deserve that, their grandparents didn't deserve that, and they sure as heck didn't either. And so we have worked together, even with students engaged, to try and change that over time. The next slide, thank you, is around some additional proud accomplishments. Specific and unique in this slide are those related to Balanced Calendar. We've offered over 1,000 courses, some remedial, some just enrichment for all students to experience real-world opportunities that they may never, ever have in their time, certainly not associated with school. Over 16,000 registrations of students taking those additional courses. Our programming has been recognized and replicated throughout the state and by various state agencies. Next slide, sweet. We are seeing a really good 3-year trend in attendance. Attendance has been a challenge for our students since COVID. We are pleased with the steady increase over the past 3 years, and you can see that on the left of this slide. We're also really excited about our Upbeat survey data. This is a climate and culture survey given twice a year, but it is specifically targeting teachers, the teacher perception. So here's their voice, and you can see the data points. Look at these percentages, all in the 80s or the 90s over, and this is a spring. This is this spring. 83% of our teachers and staff feel physically safe at school. 81% feel like they do meaningful work together with their colleagues. 92% feel that their school cares about the well-being of students. 90% say they find a sense of purpose in their work they do each and every day. And 93% of teachers and staff feel the work they do each day has a lasting impact on their students. These are big increases in the last 5 years. We have been implementing this for quite some time, but these are the highest rates we've seen in several years. Last proud data points is we recently also did a federal grant survey to see how our parents feel about how our schools are doing. And these are 3 broad data points that this measured. Parents' feelings around their schools being successful in equipping them to encourage their students' success in a partnership, almost 86%. 84% of parents said that the schools maintain high academic standards for their children, and 75% felt that their schools were safe and drug-free. They did, from the parent voice, suggest that there were 3 areas that they would that they felt like we needed more funding, not necessarily locally, but that we needed to seek more funding. Mental health, which is no surprise, we continue to need significant licensed clinicians in our buildings to help with students since COVID. And tutoring, technology and infrastructure upgrades and improvements and additions, and finally, more real-world experiences for students to take field trips and engage in more meaningful activities. Whew. Lastly, we really would like to work together to neutralize some of the misinformation and sometimes even inaccurate information about our schools and our city. These are 3 areas that we want to work together to get the correct information out. So I will highlight those just briefly. The balanced calendar is meeting its intended purpose, and I would love another opportunity, maybe in a future work session where we can talk more about that, to provide a maximum of 30 additional days of potential schooling each year, not just to ensure they do better in school, although that's important, but to provide them safe, structured opportunities for food and learning and enrichment and supervision during those days that they would not be experiencing that on a traditional schedule in the summer. The second is just to clear up the misperception about inexperienced teachers in Hopewell. The state average for inexperienced teachers, and that's defined as teachers who have 1 year or less of teaching experience, is 5%. The state average for high poverty schools, which we are, is at 7.3%. For Hopewell, it is 6.4%. So we're actually doing better than the average with inexperienced teachers. The last data point is a little different, but in the same category. Teacher licensure, as we've talked, is a state and national issue that is not unique to Hopewell. Hopewell's average of teachers not properly licensed or endorsed is 9.1%. The state average is 13%. So our hope is that we own this. We need to do a better job of making sure people understand that some of the narratives out there just simply aren't accurate. And finally, good, thank you. We want to work with all of you and our communities moving forward. And with that, we have some suggestions. Next slide. We would like, and we've tried this for a while, and you all have been willing, it just hasn't happened with previous administrations. We would like to meet quarterly and to discuss specific topics that you would like to go to a deeper level on. This is just a suggestion, but looking at the year before us, our thinking is maybe in the fall when we get back to school, that student achievement outcomes would be a good deep dive for us to talk about. Maybe in November-ish, we talk about teacher retention and licensure progress. Again, these are just suggestions. We would welcome any that you would like to take a deeper dive that are not mentioned here. But maybe in the midwinter, when we typically start the budget development process, have some deeper conversations about what things are looking like and what our needs look like and how they differ next year. And finally, maybe towards the end of the school year, talk about how we're doing with capital projects and updates on some of the work that you have been so generous to help us to fund. And our final thoughts, we are grateful for tonight. We were grateful for May 11th. We're grateful for tonight. And we hope that we can have additional work sessions where we can go deeper and a little slower to give you the information you need and to give us the opportunity to respond to that information. We are committed to the work before us. Hopefully as a more unified team moving forward. These are our schools, not my schools, not the school board schools. They're the city schools, and they bring value to this community. However, we understand the relationship that quality schools have on city growth and the health of our city. We take that responsibility seriously, and we are very much believing in the power of our partnerships and look forward to the year ahead together. We appreciate all of you individually and collectively. We want to work harder with you. We understand the connection between your work and our success, and we believe as true partners we can achieve what we put our hearts and minds to. And finally, the final thought. In the end, we are a city of hope, the Wonder City of Hope. We have high expectations for each other and we love Hopewell. And we end with our mantra that our hope doesn't end until all of the children are well. And they're not yet well, but we are working on that. Unwavering hope until all the children are well. Thank you. Any questions? I know that was a lot.
Yeah. I'll start off with one question. I know we've looked in the past in terms of healthcare costs.
Yes.
And the city and the schools coming together and not really working out. Have we explored the idea of maybe partnering with another locality as well, and maybe getting their municipal side and their school side along with our two, and try creating a bigger pool?
We have done that several times, Mayor Parton, and our understanding is we can't do that. That, like North Carolina has legislation that allows that. Even if we could do that, our utilization is so high that, for example, we have mostly women, childbearing ages. I mean, that just is what it is. Right. And it doesn't take but a few sick people in your group to raise your utilization to a point that it dramatically impacts your premiums. What we found in education is that we hurt you. You probably have a lot better utilization rates, and so even if there were legislation that would allow us to do that, and our understanding is that there isn't. I can check again, but we're not real useful to organizations like the city because we have higher utilization rates. But we can always look at it. But my understanding is that's not an option. I know of no Virginia systems that have done that.
How did yeah, 'cause that was a good question.
About Williamsburg, James City County, they.
I couldn't. I'm sorry, Mr.
Williamsburg and James City County, those two entities, the city and the county, are one in terms of the school system. And so if they can do it, why can't?
Well, let me check with them. I know that they have a very unique partnership, that there are two actual school boards that come together. I don't know. I'll be happy to look into that.
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah,
But we have in past years here, we have looked into this, and we actually even shared data pre this administration and board, but it was would not be lucrative. But we'll look at it. We would love nothing more.
Yeah, it's just something I think would be worth
I'll look into it and get back to you.
The lawyer term of due diligence, that we can maybe see if this is something that possibly, and if legislatively maybe this is something we could kind of add to our legislative agenda for our delegation. And so, question on the study, and I apologize if I didn't see it in the packet. What was the percentage of number of teachers that actually participated in the study?
I don't know, but I can get you that.
Okay, I was just curious because we had a really good participation rate on our side with the city when we went through when we kind of did our climate survey.
Do you mean the climate that upbeat? Ms. Jones, do you know?
I'm not sure of the actual number off the top of my head, but I know we trend higher than the national average across the platform. But we did find out that number is high.
Did you hear that, Mayor Parton?
Yeah,
We'll get it for you.
Because if it's if it's only like we're getting 20% teachers to do it, then it's like okay, let's try again, and encourage more people. But if it's 90% participation and we've got these great results, that's really reaffirming.
I will say this: what we love about the Upbeat platform is they trust it. It is truly anonymous.
Okay.
So we generally get higher response rates than something that we generate ourselves, or as something that's Google oriented, and they just don't. Some of them don't trust that it's going to be anonymous. So, so that's another benefit to this particular platform. But we'll get you that information.
Okay.
75% across all instructional staff, 77% across non-instructional staff.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. Okay. And did I see a light pop up? No. Okay. But I do want to give some really good kudos because I know that both my alma maters of Thomasdale High School and also BMI really encourages their alma mater to come back and teach. And so I was really happy to see that there's a lot of Hopewell High School students
Us
that,
too.
or there's an increasing number of them showing interest in coming back to teach, or be administrative support staff. And I really like that the associate's degree program is continuing to increase and improve, and excited to see about this apprenticeship program. I think that's going to be a real good positive step forward.
Be
And,
happy to bring you some reports back and maybe some student voice to talk about that.
And then I think these quarterly meetings are great. I think these are good topics, and especially I think the one topic I think that would be just really good, and I know because we're doing it on our side, is when going through the operational audit to do like a check-in and say these are the progress steps that we've made in implementing recommendations and things
Makes
like that.
perfect sense. Be happy to.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, moving on to R3, Mr. Bissett.
Sure. So, excuse me, Band 6 Hopewell has requested from the Department of Environmental Quality a significant modification to its Federal Clean Air Act operating permit, which has been in effect since June of 2024. The Southern Environmental Law Center intervened in that proceeding, providing comments to DEQ, calling for certain studies to be done and for DEQ to hold a public hearing on Advance 6's permit application. The resolution before council tonight would, if adopted, support the Southern Environmental Law Center's request to DEQ that those studies be done and that it hold a public hearing before considering issuing that new permit to Advance 6.
Okay.
With that, I'm available for any questions that council may have.
Seeing no lights, no questions, but thank you, Anthony, for working with the Southern Environmental Law Center on this. I think it's very important to make sure that the city does have its voice heard, and the citizens that I've heard from are concerned about this, and so hopefully this will require an in-person public hearing, that they can talk more in depth and detail about this and actually answer some citizens' questions. Yeah. So do I have a motion to support the resolution in support of the Southern Environmental Law Center's public hearing regarding Advance 6 draft DEQ permit as presented tonight? Motion's been made by Councilor Day and seconded by Vice Mayor Joyner. Is there any discussion? Seeing no lights, roll call please.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. All right. Ms. Jordan, bring us home.
This is a resolution to amend the fiscal year 26 budget to fund an operational audit for the Hopewell Redevelopment Housing Authority for $397,000. $216,610 are coming from unallocated capital. $93,000 is coming from our contingency account, and $87,390 is coming from our friend savings account.
Are there any questions for Ms. Jordan on where the funds are coming from? No? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the resolution amending the FY 2026 budget to fund an operational audit for the Hopewell Redevelopment Housing Authority?
I'll second that.
All right. Motion's been made by Councilor Day and seconded by Vice Mayor Joyner. Do we have any questions or comments for discussion? No? All right. I just want to say thank you, Stacy, for working really hard in order to find the funds to do this. This is going to be crucial in fixing some issues that we have down there, and I think it's going to long-term make them more successful in their mission in tackling both the public side of housing and improving quality of life conditions there, but also on the other hand, being a good partner on the redevelopment side. And with that, call for the vote.
Mayor Parton,
Yes.
Counselor Ellis,
Yes.
Counselor Day,
Yes.
Counselor Rapoli,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joyner,
Yes.
Counselor Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.